Pro Wrestling Pulse. I am J-Man, obviously doing this video solo tonight. Quadi was not able to make it out. I was just me and my fiance Nicole watching the NXT TakeOver show here. So yeah, probably be a boring one with just me on it, but definitely wanted to get this one out to you guys. I'm going to be doing our NXT TakeOver Rival review, just getting off the air on the NXT network. Another solid effort by NXT. I thoroughly enjoyed this one as well. Definitely hard to follow the standards that our Evolution, definitely put out. The last live special that was absolutely amazing. To me, I felt like this one definitely followed it. I thought it was some superb work from everybody involved. Like we said in the preview, it's all these guys and all the women on here, which we'll definitely talk about as well. I'll definitely talk about as well. It's their WrestleMania. Every single time they go out there, every single NXT live special, every single weekly show, it's their WrestleMania. It's their time to prove themselves, and yet again, that's what they did here. I'm going to run over the card for you. First matchup, we had Hideo Itami going up against Tyler Breeze. This one was added onto the card here. It wasn't whenever we did the preview. Excuse me. This one was added on here after they had the little beatdown during the segment with Itami and then Tyler Breeze coming in here. Fun little way to start the show. Nice little table setter. Nothing really special here by any means. Obviously, Itami getting the win here, looking strong, got the crowd hot. Everybody's obviously, especially all the NXT fans are big Itami fans, which is rightfully so. It's Kenta, so I mean he's the shit for sure. So good way to start there. Nice little table setter. Nothing really special here, but definitely getting Itami back on track, which is a smart thing to do. That's one thing that I definitely need to mention of how the amount of talent that they have on this small roster and not amount of time that they get. They do a great job of kind of saving face with a lot of people and making everybody look good and giving everybody their time, and definitely did that with Itami here, getting the win over Tyler Breeze. Nice little table setter, nothing really special there. Next matchup, we had the no DQ match between Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey. This was fucking terrible, as predicted in the preview. These guys need a hell of a lot more work. They're not even close to where they should be. A Bull Dempsey, I don't even know how the hell's on this roster. And a Baron Corbin is going to need a hell of a lot more work. Yes, there is a possible potential there, but it is far in the fucking future. Needs a lot more work. In-ring work has got to improve and has not been shown by any means, and this was just a fucking mess. I mean, literally last like 4 minutes. There was nothing. There was no need to even have the no DQ stipulation on here. Nothing happened that would have gotten DQ'd by anybody in this matchup. So this is definitely a throwaway matchup here and nothing to really speak of. And Baron Corbin getting the win in like I said, like 4 minutes. Next matchup, we had the NXT Tag Titles line win champions Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy went up against Lucha Dragons. This one was pretty fun stuff. Nice little tag match here. Kind of like what we got the last tag title match at our Evolution. Blake and Murphy coming out, just an epileptic person's least favorite tag team, I swear to God. Me and my fiance were just like, what the fuck are they doing with this theme song? It's like shitty ass fucking dubstep mixed with a fucking rave. I mean, it is atrocious, and they need to change that shit like now because it's just absolutely terrible. But as far as the in-ring work, I think Blake and Murphy show a lot of potential here. I think they work well as a tag team. They show great chemistry. Had some solid, tag team combo type moves in this one. So definitely show some potential as far as being a tag team that possibly could come up from the main roster and do something. They have matching gear. That's a good sign. That's what we always look forward to, or look for in a tag team that is established and stuff like that you can kind of get behind. So that's good to see. And like I said, the chemistry can definitely can be worked on some things here and there, but I think work well together, and I think something that definitely shows potential in the future. Lucha Dragons obviously looking good here as they do in most of the tag matchups. A lot of kind of spotty type things in here, which is what you get in a Lucha Dragons type matchup, but some solid work. Everybody looked well in this matchup, and Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy retaining the tag titles in that matchup there. During the celebration of Blake and Murphy, we had another Solomon Crow tease. This one a little bit more in depth, a little bit longer. It's saying basically that next week, the takeover doesn't end; it's just beginning, and looking like another big tease for Solomon Crow finally making his debut. I cannot wait for Solomon Crow's debut. I'm a huge Sami Callihan fan. I'm loving what this gimmick is looking like going into the future and what the setup is. So I cannot wait at all to see Solomon Crow's debut. Really looking forward to that, and all the people out there should be too, because it's going to be some really good stuff. But can't wait for that, and possibly next week on NXT's live show, or not live show, but weekly show on Wednesday. Next up, we have the number one contenders NXT title tournament finals. I'm good, thanks. Thanks, babe. I don't know. Got a water in case I need it. Thank you. We have the number one contenders NXT title tournament finals between Finn Balor and Adrian Neville. This was some great stuff, as predicted. These guys are just stellar fucking athletes and great performers, and definitely worked well together as they have, in the past, long before NXT. Finn Balor, obviously, the thing of the live specials now is that he comes out, in that special type character where he adds the bigness and the feel to it, and the entrance is more drawn out and elaborate and stuff like that, and definitely did that here. Another great entrance, looking pretty much the same as what they did at our Evolution, with the kind of Venom looking black and red kind of teeth shit, and looks like he had wings on his back too. So I mean, it looks badass. The production of his character is just on point beyond belief. I can't wait to see him in a bigger type element, like on a main roster. Like I can't imagine his entrance at a WrestleMania. I mean, it's gonna be fucking amazing. It's gonna be great to see. So I'm glad to see that. It's only the second big type entrance that he's had, but fucking awesome to see that. And yeah, the work alone here is tremendous. These guys definitely put on some solid effort here and definitely performed to what we know that they could be able to perform to, as far as Finn Balor, formerly Prince Devitt, and Adrian Neville, formerly as Pac. So I mean, that's what you're going to get with those type guys, and that's what you get here. Solid effort, really high, octane, high impact, really fast paced type stuff that we got here. A lot of top rope type, high risk type stuff. We had a lot of groundwork. So I mean, everything was really on point with these two guys, as like you said, as predicted, and definitely one of the best matches on this card. And Finn Balor, the new number one contender for the NXT title. Just really good stuff. False finishes towards the end. Just really great action here, and just great work from both guys. Next up is one that I am definitely want to be talking about, which is the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Women's title between champion Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. This was fucking awesome, and I'm going to go out on a not too far of a limb, but in my eyes, I'm going to say this is one of the best women's matches in WWE history, and I'm not even fucking around here. I legit think with the work that all of these women have put on in NXT alone over the past, I would say, year and a half to 2 years, whether it was starting out with the Paige and then Emma and then the Natalias and then adding in the Charlottes and the Sasha Bankses and the quality work that Bayley has been putting on and the effort that Becky Lynch and the Bayley have shown improving wise. The NXT women's division is outstanding. And I mean, these ladies, they go out there, they bust their ass, they put on great quality work, they work at a pace that all of the male wrestlers, work at, and it's not half-assed. A lot of the work that you see out there is very they're too scared to go quick, they're too scared to mess something up. They're out there full bore, and they are not effing around. I mean, this is how women's wrestling should be, and it's not to be overlooked. It's not to be a bathroom break. It's not to be something that you shove in there after a really really great matchup, which is what they did here. They shoved it between the Finn Balor match and the title match, thinking this will be a blow-off one. This was, in my eyes, quite possibly the best match in this show. I would say it's probably even with the Balor and Neville matchup. Some people could say that one's a little bit higher. To me, I love the work that was done in this. Just tremendous effort, and it's just the will to go out there and be like, we don't want to be afterthoughts. We don't want to be the filler or the fucking bathroom break match or this and that. We want to make people, sit their asses down and say, damn, these women know what the fuck they're doing in this ring, and they are putting on some great effort, and it's something that we definitely need to speak about. And that is definitely what I want to do. So, I mean, I commend all four of these women and all of the women's division in NXT and what they've done over the past year and a half, starting out with the Paige and the dominant run that, she's had, now finally getting, looking like she's back on track on the main roster, the Emmas of the world, and now onto the Charlottes and the Sasha Bankses and Baileys and the Becky Lynches and all those kind of people. And in this division right now. Just stellar work, outstanding matchup, and just continuing the trend of all the NXT live specials and all the women's matches on the live specials being absolutely tremendous. And that's exactly what it was here yet again. And I feel like to the peak of what we've seen on these live specials with this four-way matchup, which was just outstanding. And Sasha Banks getting the win here, great moment here. Charlotte was crying at the end of this one just after her extremely long title run that she had, an successful title run, and really building her to a position to where she is a viable threat in any women's division if she was thrown in anything in the world. So great work here. Sasha Banks, the new women's champion. I think the character that's behind her, the confidence that she has portraying that character, great stuff. Charlotte is just a pure natural athlete. These two can clash for years and years, and I have no problem with it. I think they have natural chemistry. They have the kind of difference in their characters and difference as people, kind of like Alita and Trish had. They just have a difference about them that really makes them meld very well together. And I think that they could do some great stuff in the future, along with some Paiges, along with the Natalias, all those quality in-ring women's wrestlers that we could see in the future. This is what we need to see on the main roster, and we don't see it. They don't get the time. They have to be the filler, and they have to be the afterthought. You don't have to have women be the afterthought when it comes to professional wrestling, because it wasn't in the past with the Trishas and the Litas, the Gail Kims, the Victorias. I mean, the Molly Holly. I mean, all the quality in-ring workers that we've seen, the Beth Phoenixes, the Michelle McCools. I mean, the list goes on and on as far as quality women's in-ring workers that could actually put on some quality work. They don't have to be afterthoughts. They could be viable parts of the card, and this is proving why and how they could be viable parts of the card. So I give credit to Triple H, who has really been influential in wanting to bring the women's division and the tag division back in, and the divisions that are afterthoughts, bring them back to the forefront, because this is a sign of bringing it to the forefront. This is some great work, and I can't say enough about the quality and the effort and the work that all four women have put in, to building this division, and like I said, the Paiges and them and stuff like that helped build this division to the point where it is today, where it is a threat to be the best match on the show for an NXT show every single time they're out there. So great work here, Sasha Banks, your new NXT Women's Champion. Next matchup, we had the main event for the NXT title between champion Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Had the great video package that we forgot to mention on the preview that they had leading into this pay-per-view, showing the history of Kevin Steen and El Generico, the friends that they were for over 15, 20 years or whatever it is, traveling the world together, tag partners and feuding. Before they both came out here, we had the kind of old school type hype to their intros where they show them backstage with that kind of intense ass like hype type music, and then have them come out for the entrance. I love that. I wish they would do that more for bigger type matches, especially on the main roster too. It reminds me of like old school, like 10, 15 years ago, how they used to build to those matches and stuff, and have that old school like hype, like dun dun dun. Like I don't know, can't really fucking portray it here, but as you saw it on there if you watched it. To where they got over the bigness feel of the matchup. I love that, and I wish they would do that a lot more, the kind of old school hype to the intros and everybody and coming out. It's Steen and Generico. It's basically a watered down version of what you would see in Ring of Honor when they were definitely going at it in their the height of their feud and everything. Some quality work, no doubt here. This is pretty much went exactly the way I felt it would go. It was kind of a precursor of what we're going to see in the future, because I definitely don't think this is going to be the last of what we're going to see of these two. As far as the finish goes, is kind of what has been the talk of the last couple days. Sami Zayn is going to be on a tour in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, with his background and stuff like that, he wears all of his trunks, and I don't know if he has any background as far as himself, but I don't know that off the top of my head. But I know he's going to be on the tour, and I think that's the next couple weeks or so that's going to be going on. So he was either going to be written off TV, lose the title, whatever was going to go down was going to be interesting towards the end of this show to see how they were going to make this work. But as for how they made this work, they basically had Zayn suffer kind of like an injury, almost like he was concussed a little bit. Owens kept going after him and hit like damn near 10 powerbombs towards the end of this matchup on him. He definitely looked like he was just out of it, definitely playing it up, the injury. He hit him on the back of the head when he did the flip dive, I think, to the outside. So had that go down. The referee stopped it and awarded Kevin Owens the NXT Championship basically off of the ref stoppage. Didn't really think this was going to go down. Obviously, it's better than ending in a DQ, but yet it still leaves a lot of answers. If you didn't know that, a Sami Zayn was going to be going on this tour and this and that, you'd be questioning, what the hell was that? I mean, you build him up to this championship run and have this happen in his first, championship, well, I think second championship rematch. He faced Neville, I think, again for the title, but in his first big high-profile match against, his best friend and former partner, blah, 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 and have it end this way. Kind of sketchy, kind of shitty in the way that it ended here, but obviously not going to be the end of it as far as this feud goes and as far as, the championship picture goes with, what's going on with these two. But kind of a disappointing finish to it. It was a lot of build, great matches after, great match after great match, and then kind of getting to this, and it was kind of, which was solid work by both of them. Obviously, it's Cena and Generico. It's always going to be solid stuff. But again, kind of felt a little watered down. It slowed the pace down a lot. Didn't really have a lot of the high octane type shit you normally see in a Cena and Generico match, where the match would really build and get to an intense, climax towards the end of it. But definitely kind of a watered down version of what we normally see with Cena and Generico. Still solid work, and a kind of sketchy finish that we'll definitely see more of going in the future. But Kevin Owens, I think 2 or 3 matches now. I think this is his 3rd match and already the NXT champion. That's called, great reputation going off of what Kevin Steen has done his entire career, and I have no problem with them living off of that, because that's what you need to do. Like we talked about in the preview, living off of a reputation is not a bad thing, because it creates hype. And if you don't know who he was, you're like, holy shit, 3rd match in, he's already world champion. Why the hell is this, happening? Go back and see what Kevin Steen is all about, and you realize, like, this is why this is happening. It's meant to happen. It's supposed to happen, and it's definitely the right move to go if you're going to have Sami Zayn, move off, for a couple weeks, write him off TV. You really have no way of making it make a lot of sense. No champion there. Owens is like, I beat the shit out of him, but where the hell is he type thing. So it's kind of like all you really had to do there, but it didn't really work out as far as the flow of it went, but it's kind of all they can do storyline-wise and going into the future-wise. So kind of disappointing way that they finished the match. Quality work. Kevin Owens now the new NXT champion after that finish there to the matchup. And like I said, solid work from really everybody on the card. Really only one really dud and forgettable matchup, but everything else, quality stuff. The women's match, I can't say enough about. The tournament finals in the NXT Number One Contenders Tournament. Great stuff with Baylor and Neville. Quality work there. And we have a story to go into the future. Kevin Owens is the new champion. Sami Zayn out with the injury. So a lot of interesting things going on in the future, and that's a great thing to see with a great show and a great program, which is building upon what you already have in place and continuing the story and continuing the angles and the storylines to see what's going to happen in the future. So great stuff here, and definitely looking forward to the future weeks and months to come with NXT. Can't wait for Solomon Crow's debut. A lot of great stuff coming up here and a lot of the great stuff going on right now in NXT. Just can't say enough about it. Just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. And continuing the trend of what they were doing at the end of 2014 right into the beginning of 2015. So great stuff here and another great performance from NXT. And this will now wrap up our NXT TakeOver Rival Review. I am J-Man, and thank all of you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the Pulse, Professional Wrestling World.